The National Series might be taking some time off for the Olympic break, but that doesn't mean there'll be a shortage of racing action this weekend.
From Canada to the Carolinas, the stars of the NASCAR Regional Series will be hitting tracks across the continent.
Cruz is going to bump and run his way by, and he will win.
Plus, we will take an in-depth look at an up-and-coming driver who currently sits second in the ARCA West point standings.
Tyler Reif goes to the race lead in turn 3.
We've got all that and more coming up next on Around the Track. Welcome to Around the Track, presented by Moultrie Mobile. I'm Kim Coon alongside Ryan Flores, and we wrapped up things at Indy. I'm sorry it did not go your way.
Ooh, that was another brutal way to lose an Indy race. That's 3 now that I've lost changing tires for Ryan Blaney, but it was a tough one, but it was good to see a deserving winner in Kyle Larson.
Yeah, let's be clear though, you didn't lose it based on a tire change. It got just a little bit crazy there at the end.
Yeah, and there was no guarantee we were going to win. Brad Keselowski could have somehow made it on fuel, but we felt like we were in the catbird seat. It didn't work out, but hey, nonetheless, a great weekend of racing action all around the country. Yeah,
it was awesome, and I know it didn't work out in your favor, but it was nice to see Kyle Larson take the win after his double debacle and not getting to run the Coca-Cola 600. He actually brought the paint scheme on his car that was supposed to be running the Coke 600 because he didn't race it. That was Kyle's idea to bring it back with that little McLaren papaya color accent on it, so I thought it was good.
A little insult to injury. Our pit stall was right at the bricks, so we had to sit there while we were tearing down and watch those guys kiss the bricks. But we go to Friday.
Yeah.
Connor Zilisch, a thrilling green-white checker to finish in the ARCA race. I was watching that. I was like, man, we've been talking about these 3 guys. It was Connor Zilisch, Andreas Perez, and William Sawalich all year on Around the Track, so I was excited to watch that. Ty Majeski gets the win in the truck race.
Yeah, and then Saturday, the action in the Xfinity Series was awesome too. That finish between Eric Almirola, Riley Herbst, and Cole Custer, I was shocked at how good the racing was with the package they brought to Indy. I think a lot of people were surprised at how good the racing was.
That was awesome. I said yesterday on Stag and Pennies we were driving to a pool party and I had to pull the car over. I was like, Carissa, we got to watch the last 2 laps of this. It was awesome to see those guys duking it out. And just Riley Herbst with that big slide through turn 4. I didn't realize how big of a moment that was until after the race. So excited for those guys. Then you go to Saturday night, the Hampton Heat. It didn't get going till almost midnight. Saw a great battle between Peyton Sellers, Connor Hall, and the eventual winner, Butterbean McQueen. So a heavyweight battle between 3 of late model stock's finest. And Dale Jr. Yep, top 5 for him. So it was an exciting race there. Didn't get over till 2 in the morning, but it was worth the wait.
Yeah, and for Connor Hall, backs up his win at South Boston, the first leg of the Triple Crown with a 2nd place finish in Hampton Heat. You have to imagine he's the favorite to take the Triple Crown.
Absolutely. The short track racing has been hot and heavy, and there will be a ton of short track racing over our National Olympic break. So let's take a look at what we have on tap. It's going to start Saturday with Hickory. That's the Cars Tour throwback race. Always exciting to see those paint schemes. NASCAR Canada, a lot of the ARCA series will be running as we look at this. East, West, National, some cool tracks like Salem and Shasta. And then we go to week 2. The Cookout Summer Shootout wraps up. That's been so fun to watch. Bubba Ross has been there competing, so you see some current Cup guys. And
I think he's had his eyes opened too.
Yeah, and then always a fun race, NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour, which we'll talk about later at Lancaster. When I think about the Wheel and Modified Tour, it is New York, right?
Yeah.
You had Richie Evans, a New York guy, and it kind of lost its way in the New York area there, and it's come back with a vengeance. That Western New York with Modified Tour racing just feels right. NASCAR Brazil.
Yeah, we're going to see Suarez in the field for the NASCAR Brazil race, so that should be interesting.
Serious question. He's getting married in Brazil, and then he's going the race. How many brownie points has he had to build up with Julia to be able to go race?
So many. So although I talked to him, it's funny. I don't know that she wants to hear this, but I talked to Suarez. They were in my section for the Indy race, and so race day morning, I'm talking to him about like how they're feeling and stuff, and then kind of a preview, because we like to tell stories. You're getting married, you're going to be racing the Brazil race. Like, how much are you thinking about that? He's like, not at all. I got to get through Indy first. Indy, you have to be so disciplined. I have not even thought about the wedding. I have not thought about the Brazil race, so I'm not sure Julia wants to hear that. But I'm sure his mindset is all wedding now.
That's the tough part about being an active competitor in the Cup Series. You just go week to week.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, what's this week? And you attack that week. Then you go to the next week. But Julia, her father, Nelson Piquet, she is from a racing family. Her brother raced, her father raced, so she understands. So I'm excited for them. and Tyler Reddick also getting married during the break. So congratulations to all of them. And yeah, man, I'm excited to just take 2 weeks off.
Yeah, and we saw in the graphic too, IMSA at Road America, one of my favorite tracks. The crowds there in the summer are incredible. Such great racing. But you mentioned Hickory. It's throwback night. When we talked to Connor Hall a couple weeks ago, he said he was going to go full throwback and do like a retro mustache. So I'm curious because the race isn't until this weekend, so I don't think he's probably shaved it yet. But I'm going to stay tuned to his social media to see if we get that retro look from him.
Yeah, it's always fun. It's like NASCAR Halloween. That's what I used to call. I used to do the mustache and everything for Darlington, so it's cool to give those guys a chance to run those throwback schemes, and it really bridges the gap between the National Series. You know, a lot of those guys run Cup schemes, and some of the Cup guys go check it out, and a lot of, like, I've seen Harry Gant there before, the Jarretts. So Hickory is such a special place, so that's the right place to do this for the car store.
Well, all of those races we just mentioned, we're going to break them down a little bit more after the break.
Hey race fans, Corey LaJoy here. Join Ryan Flores and myself for Stacking Pennies each week. I'll break down my race and explain what happened right out of my windshield.
Plus, we award the Dogs of the Week for the best pit crews and go in-depth on all the money stops, pit road mistakes, and penalties.
And we've got a ton of guests. We have SVG stopping by. We had Ricky Stenhouse after he punched Kyle Busch in the face. We've had Bubba. We've had all sorts of guys in here in the Nonsense Garage, so you do not want to miss it. Check us out on Sirius XM Channel 90, YouTube, or wherever you find your podcasts. Each and every week, Stacking Pennies. That's what's up.
So like we just mentioned, the car store is headed to Hickory for throwback night, and there might be a Cup Series driver in the field. Hasn't been announced, but we are hearing that Josh Berry might jump in a car.
Yeah, he's always ready to go in those junior motorsports late model stocks. But when I look at the point standings, like, I know we're going to talk about it next week about the playoff cutoff lines, but I feel like every series has a tight points battle. So Spencer Davis leads the pro late models by 3 over Caden Honeycutt, and then you look at Connor Hall, he's leading over Brent Cruz by just 9 points, so single digits, which brings me to the next series, the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour, where Ron Silk leads just by 2 points over Justin Bonsignor. Did you get to watch the battle at Monadnock this past weekend?
I didn't. Fill me in.
I was glued to my Flow Racing app, so Trevor Catalano stayed in the 56. He stayed out late. Ron Silk was hard charging. The last 30 laps went green. They were through traffic. Trevor Catalano was able to hold him off to get the Catalano family their first win. So Amy and
the brothers
Dave
excited.
Catalano, right? They're brothers. I'm going to try to get it right.
Yeah.
Tommy, Timmy, Trevor, Tyler, and Troyer. So
I don't know how you keep track of that.
Yeah, it was their first win. They're such a great racing family, and they're going to what is probably their home track at Lancaster Motorplex this weekend. It's always an exciting race. Lancaster has a drag strip on the front stretch, so the cars come sliding out of turn 4, and then they hit the grip strip, and it launches the car forward. It's really exciting. We saw Austin Beers win over Matt Hirschman last year. It was kind of a breakout win for Austin Beers. He's a young guy. The exciting part about that and the interesting part about that, Austin Beers and Matt Hirschman live on the same street in Pennsylvania.
What?
Yes, Mud Lane. So it was excited to see them battle it out. And I'm hearing that Justin Bonsignor, after that impressive run in New Hampshire, he might get another shot at an Xfinity ride.
I think he deserves it. You know, we've seen so much out of some of those guys that run regional and short tracks. We mentioned Bubba Pollard. You know, Carson Quapple's got additional opportunities. I think it's only right that we see Bonsignor back in an Xfinity Series car. He was so impressive. Didn't get the finish I think everybody expected him to get, but that was just a racing incident. But, man, did he impress for the first part of that New Hampshire race.
Yeah, I saw, you know, one guy that was a great short track guy that's made an awesome career in Cup. Chris Bell, give him a lot of props. And when I look at the ARCA series, right, we said earlier we've been talking about Andreas Perez, William Swalich, and Connor Zilich, but when we fast forward to the race this weekend, Elko, Salem, the 2 guys that have won the last 2 races there, Jesse Love and Sammy Smith, who are both paving their wins as well.
So we've seen both of them get wins in the Xfinity Series. So my question is, are Elko and Salem indicators of future success in NASCAR National Series?
It seems to be that way. I can't put my finger on why. They're both very challenging short tracks. And, you know, these short tracks, when you go there, you got to be gritty. You got to have your car working. You got to, like we saw this past weekend, late race restarts. Put yourself in good positions. Choose the right lane. And it's been so fun. I know there's been a lot of hype around Connor Zilich and William Swalich, but, man, I've really been keeping my eyes on Andreas Perez. Not only has he been fast in ARCA, but he's also won in NASCAR Mexico this year, and he's been really fun to watch.
Yeah, Andreas Perez, the points leader in the ARCA Menard Series. But then as we're talking, William Sawalich and Connor Zilic, they both have 3 wins so far in the ARCA Series. And it feels like it's a battle between them every single track we go to. And we're going to see them in the National Series. You know, we've already seen Connor Zilic in some Truck Series races, but he's going to have an Xfinity Series start at Michigan coming up because he turned 18 on Monday.
Yeah, that's exciting. He has won in everything he's been in, from the Rolex 24 at Daytona. He was super fast in his truck debut at Coda. He got the pole.
And he fits in, too. He's a Trackhouse development driver, and so he was at Indy this past weekend, obviously after running IRP, just hanging out in the hauler at the one in the 99 and cutting up with the crew guys. You know, those crews over there at Trackhouse, they have a lot of fun, and it felt like his personality fit right in.
Yeah, and the other cool thing is, even though we're taking 2 weeks off, Corey filmed a show with him for Stacking Pennies that you guys can tune into, so that'll be fun to watch and learn more about him. The other stuff, ARCA West, Sean Higurani's leading points there, but we have a little bit more on the guy who's second in points, chasing him down, Tyler Reif.
I'm Tyler Reif from Henderson, Nevada, and I drive the number 13 for Central Coast Racing in the Toyota Camry.
Look at Tyler Reif making up some ground in the 41 car.
I started racing when I was like 4 and a half, just about to turn 5, so it's been 12 years now. My love of racing came from watching my grandpa, and then when first my brother got his car, I was like, I need to get into this. So when I turned 5 and I was finally old enough to do it, we got a car, and then ever since then, it's full time.
Where did Tyler Reif come from? That 41 car has made up a lot of ground on these restarts.
ARCA's been a little bit up and down. I'd say mostly on the good side. There's definitely been a high.
Tyler Reif for the pass. He leads him, going through turn number 4. Will he hang on to it? Checkered flag is out. Tyler Reif wins it.
We actually ended up getting in a wreck before, I think it was lap 10. And we went 2 laps down and ended up unlapping ourselves and winning that day. So that was like super special.
I mean, like happy is just no word to describe this.
And then I came over to my new team with Central Coast Racing. It's been nothing but love and support. We can just get through these next couple of weekends and hopefully win the championship this year.
His hair's even bigger than it was last year.
He did grow it out some.
My advice for anyone wanting to get in the sport would be race smart, not super hard. Just stick to it. Everything you're doing, just be consistent. Be heads up every race, and don't do anything stupid.
Boy, Tyler Reif is on the move.
Tyler Reif goes to the race lead in turn 3.
Move Tyler Reif to the top spot.
Definitely want to get a couple wins this season in the ARCA Menard Series. That would be huge for us. And overall, with the points lead right now, just finishing off where we're at. Being the champions, obviously, would be the best thing you could do, but some wins on top of that would be very nice.
Reif, he is going to hit the button and go.
My goals with racing, possibly by next year, would hopefully to get in the Truck Series. If not, it's no biggie. I still got a couple years, but definitely in the end goal would be to drive a Cup car.
As we look at Tyler Reif's 2024 season to date, 6 starts, 2 poles. That means he's got a lot of speed. He's only finished outside of the top 10 once. So this guy wants to move up. What do we see him doing next?
Well, yeah, we have to remember, too, he's from Las Vegas, good friends with Noah Gragson, and it feels like that's a breeding ground for up-and-coming drivers. Noah, Riley Herbst, we talk about Tyler, his brother Tanner, who I've actually covered in the ARCA Menard Series. I haven't had the opportunity, though, to call a race with Tyler in it.
Yeah, he said he wants to go to the Truck Series. This West Series has been a great segue for champions like Kevin Harvick in the past and Matt Craft, and so we'll see what he's able to do, and I'm excited to see his career and his future. But up next, we got the white flag, so stick around.
Join host Kyle Petty for part 2 of the NASCAR Insiders Roundtable series presented by Goodyear, as KP chats with team owners Kelly Earnhardt Miller, Jordan Wood Hicks, driver Carson Kvapil, and NASCAR's Joey Denowitz about the future of NASCAR talent, team ownership, and of course, its fans. Watch the NASCAR Insiders Roundtable presented by Goodyear on NASCAR's YouTube channel.
Well, NASCAR's top 3 national series are taking the next 2 weeks off for the Olympic break. And as we talk Olympics and racing, there is an Olympic tie to NASCAR's top 3 national series, including the most recent winner, Kyle Larson. Do you have any idea of what I could be talking about?
I do not have any idea.
Okay. So, as we talk about the...
Give me a hint.
Okay, it has to do with Chevy drivers.
Oh, boy. Okay. Yeah, I have no clue.
All right. So, as we talk about Chevy drivers, there is a Chevy kind of driver development program that Josh Weitz leads. Yep. Scott Speed's part of the mix. But there is a former Olympian.
Was this part of that bike ride they went on?
I don't know, maybe.
I don't know. I just saw that Larson and Scott Speed and Josh Wise just climbed like 50-something miles on a bike ride. But anyway, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, good for them. So there's a third guy in the mix who's a former Olympian. Does that help you at all?
No.
No.
I'm completely lost.
Okay, so multi-time gold winner, champion speed skater Dan Jansen is actually part of the Chevy driver kind of workout program. And he had some interesting quotes about Larson. Said, you know, he's not the strongest guy when it comes to like just outright bench pressing, but his strength lies elsewhere. Like he can do 20 straight pistol squats. And so it was really cool to hear a former gold medal Olympian talk about the strength of one of our Cup Series drivers.
I've got a nugget for you.
Oh, okay, what is it?
Penske had Dan Jansen come and
Really?
speak to us a couple of years ago.
That's
yes,
awesome.
I actually got to see him speak. He came and talked to the whole organization. So that's cool. That is a good. I knew that he was local to the Mooresville, North Carolina area. So that's cool that they're working out together.
Yeah, his last gold medal he won in 1994. So I don't know if he has any role in this year's Olympics, but has a role with some of the Chevy drivers in the NASCAR Top Series.
Absolutely. Well, next week when we come to the Round the Track, we're going to see who has a role in this tight playoff.
Yeah.
It's all three series are super tight on the cutoff lines. So join us here at Around the Track as we break down the playoff picture for the top three series.